Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. Now, most people think that gold is this really rare commodity and silver, or actually most people think it's an asset and silver is this, overly abundant commodity. And what if I told you it was actually opposite? What if I told you that silver is actually more rare than gold is? Right now, miners are focusing much more on digging gold out the ground, and the gold to silver ratio is only 8 to 1. So, with that said, plus miners focusing more on gold than silver, abandoning silver mines, silver is actually probably more uncommon than gold is. But why is the gold to silver ratio still so high, over 85 to 1? What does that say? Now, this should prove right off the bat that silver is extremely undervalued and has a lot of potential. And a lot of people think that actually silver is more of a commodity and gold's more of an asset, but it's flip-flopped. Gold is used more for bullion, more for jewelry, more for your necklaces. Silver is used more for the technological world, especially the way we're advancing in. So, since miners since the production of silver is being drew back by so many millions of ounces in the hundreds of millions range, there's going to be a silver shortage coming soon, especially as demand skyrockets, as supply, falls down and demand shoots up. That's going to shoot the price up. That's 101 investing. Surplus is one of the biggest price, movers, and that has the biggest momentum to move price or pushes prices higher than any other factor. Whether it's the trade wars, whether it's Iran tensions, whatever the case is, surplus is probably has the biggest influence on prices. So when I'm talking about the gold to silver ratio, this is something you definitely want to keep an eye on and stay in tune with, because as the ratio shortens or goes to more normal prices or ranges. Actually, well, let me give some some context. So the gold to silver ratio historically is around 40 to 1. For it to quote unquote be called high, it's a 50 to 1 average, meaning it takes 50 ounces of silver to equal or amount to 1 ounce of gold. So let's think about that as a ratio of 50 to 1. Right now the ratio is 85 to 1, so it's still extremely high, even though it is lowering. It has been as high as 95 to 1 over the past couple months. So this means that silver is actually outperforming gold. This means that silver is either having to appreciate or gold has to depreciate. And the gold to silver ratio is a great indicator to show which metal is better to be investing in right now. So this video is made for a lot of people that don't understand why people invest into silver, or for the people that are investing into gold to maybe take a look at silver, because the potential and the opportunity is definitely in silver's favor. If you're looking more into gold, it does have benefits, it does have uses, it can be extremely beneficial for different things, but if you're focusing on straight investing and trying to get the most profits, silver makes the most sense. Gold is used in technology as well, but think about how expensive gold is. And let's think about these two assets, actually appreciating in value. For gold, it would be around $3,000 would be its quote unquote, blowout. But for silver, it could easily be $50, $100, which would be a very high ratio or a very low ratio. And think about that, because this means that silver at around $17.80, for it to hit $100, it's going to be multiplying by 5 times, maybe 10 times the price it is now. For gold, it would only double. So you can get 10 times more profits out of your investment with silver than you would with gold, and that's if they both exploded at somewhat similar ratios or somewhat similar terms. So the potential is definitely in silver's favor. A lot of people don't see silver as a serious investment, which drives me crazy, because silver is by far the safest, smartest investment. Look at the US-China trade wars right now. As things are still being pushed back, as negotiations are still getting, unresolved, precious metals are definitely in the spotlight to explode. People are looking towards a safe haven investment, and no other investment brings the same types of safety or has a safety net like gold and silver do, because every other investment is pegged to the dollar, pegged to the central banks, which is the thing at jeopardy. which is the reason why people are worried in the first place. So you have to turn towards precious metals. So if you're looking at precious metals, you have two options, silver or gold. I mean, you could go platinum, palladium, or copper, but obviously it's silver and gold, which are the two main, ones in the spotlight for people to be influenced by. And actually, most people start off with gold because they think that gold is the royal metal, and it's the one that's mostly gold drives the investors in, and then usually after they get into the market, then they follow suit by finding silver or hearing about the beneficial factors silver brings. So when you're looking at gold, most people actually, they don't understand, or I guess it takes time to understand that gold does move faster than silver, but not to the same degree. Gold usually moves faster, and then silver usually follows suit. But as silver follows suit or catches up, it will overpass gold as the gold to silver ratio lowers. So if you are looking for a short-term flip, gold is more like the stock markets, or more like Bitcoin, that could go up several dollars or down several dollars in a day. But that also means you have to spend more money, and you don't have to buy a whole ounce of gold. You can actually use the gold to silver ratio to earn free gold or silver to your advantage without taking a penny out of your pocket. I've made videos talking about how to do this, but for the sake of this video, I'm talking about the importance of the gold to silver ratio and how you can see where markets are headed. If the ratio is going higher, this means that gold is outperforming silver. If the ratio is dropping, this means that silver is outperforming gold. And you can also use these ratios to tell where the markets are, or if they're in a healthy or if they're in a bad state. When the ratios are higher, this usually means that markets are extremely volatile and not in a good state. But for something as intrinsic as precious metals, it's always going to be a safe investment regardless. So I'm curious if you guys do invest into gold, because it can bring some benefits to your stack. It's a great way to store large amounts of wealth in a small area. You can fit hundreds of ounces of gold in a shoebox, where you can't do that with silver. So the storage capacity for large amounts of wealth can be beneficial, and that's probably one of the only things that gold offers that silver doesn't. When it comes to the intrinsic value, when it comes to the beneficial properties, when it comes to the potential, when it comes to the uses in electronics and the technological era we're advancing in, silver has all those things. So for the ratio to be 85 to 1, where it only comes out of the ground roughly 8 to 1, and actually lower than that, since miners are really not focusing on silver, they're bypassing it, finding it by accident, betting that gold is more profitable. They are heading towards the dollar. They're chasing the dollar. They don't care how demand or how the supply of silver, how the production getting decreased is going to affect the world. Because think of it on a global scale. We need all this silver. Silver is the most highly conductive metal for thermal conductivity and electricity. And as it's used in technology, this lowers our dollar per cost average, and these big companies, these big corporations need silver to be able to keep the prices of our laptops, of our cell phones, to a low cost. And no matter what the price is, they're going to have to pay it. So if the production, or if the amount of silver being supplied is getting drastically cut down by the hundreds of millions of ounces, what do you think this is going to do to the world, especially if we don't start catching up? Because they still are focusing more on gold and gold, I think it's lead and zinc. They're not even focusing on silver at all. Silver is being dug out of the ground from individual companies. So this is extremely alarming, and I think not enough people are looking at how severe this is going to be, or the consequences that could follow suit. For people that are investing into precious metals, or silver more importantly, you might make a lot of money, but it also might affect the economy at a much worse state than making a couple dollars. You have to think, what's your true motives. And if it's all about money, and if it's not something more serious than that, or if you don't really care about the economy, then yes. But obviously, precious metals do have several different factors that can benefit you, diversifying your portfolio, expanding from the deflating dollar, from hyperinflation, or just a preservation of wealth. So I'm curious what you guys think about this. Do you guys know or understand how severe this is, and where do you think this is going to head? Do you guys think the gold to silver ratio is going to be lowering or rising, and why? Do you think gold has more potential to be appreciating in the near future? We have the FOMC meeting that was yesterday, and we also have tensions from the U.S.-China trade wars that are going to be brewing up today as we find out very soon with more news. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to smash that like button. If you did enjoy it, if you found it educational, entertaining, or just informational, make sure to smash that like button. It helps support the channel. Also, make sure you subscribe. I'm about to hit 22,000 subscribers. I cannot thank you guys enough for the support. I'm going to keep pumping out videos as long as you guys keep supporting the channel. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thank you guys for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys soon. Peace.